Hi, my name is Sean Foley, and I'm an alcoholic. Oh wait, that's a speech for what I'm doing after this. Crap. Well, I'm making my comedy debut right now, so I suppose you and I should get better acquainted. What do you think? Let me start off by letting you know that I love free stuff. I don't care what it is. Free stuff on my Xbox 360, though, that is awesome. It can be an episode of some reality TV makeup show, and I'd be all like, hey, it could be good, right? Free's pretty good after all. So I waste the bandwidth downloading it, only I don't actually watch it. It comes background noise, and normally that's alright. I'm on my computer and whatnot. Then, your friend comes in and he sees the reality makeup show and he's thinking that you're watching it and he's all like, what the hell, man? Is there something you want to tell me? And so I'm all, dude, it was free, yeah. So my love for free stuff was a good way to make a friend feel uncomfortable enough to get me kicked out. Which sounds bad, but hey, free food at a soup kitchen, score one for me. You always gotta find your silver linings. Anyways, talking about people supposedly discovering something. So, who all here has had an intervention before? What? Am I the only person who's had themselves in a miniature intervention before? Oh, God. Well, let me explain something for those who've never had one. It sucks. A lot. See, now all the cool people, they get an intervention for something awesome to get in trouble for. Like drugs, or alcohol, or being complete sex addicts. Hell, for what mine was with, I think the only thing more embarrassing would be if it was an intervention for excessive chronic masturbation. Now you see, in senior year of high school, my grandmother had moved in, and thus I decided it would be a fun idea to kind of scare her a little. I decided I'd dress up in the whole goth style and see what would happen. I didn't go too far overboard, I didn't wear arm warmers or anything like that. I dressed in an Aussie shirt, black pants, and a chain wallet, and a couple times I wore black nail polish. So I got to school one day and dressed like that, and a classmate who worked with my sister decided to rat me out. Bitch, I know. By the time I got home and cleaned up, I get my brother and my sister yelling at how they don't want their brother to be a freak. Internally, I'm all laughing my ass off. But externally, I'm all, yeah. So that sucked a lot. So doing comedy is a lot harder than I thought. Wow. What sucks is I have so many jokes that are hilarious. That is, if you're one of my friends. I learned this because I have two different friends groups. There's all of those people I know from college and high school, and then there are the people I went to work with. Having two groups of friends while being really cool can be hard to manage, what is funny and what isn't. I can't go to Group A and say, yeah, well, sometimes you gotta wear a pig mask because it's in reference to a previous joke that I made about a movie I saw with a Group B. So now Group A is all, dude, what the hell? You a furry or something, you yiffy son of a bitch? And then I have to go, no, it's in reference to this one scene in this one movie I saw called Stay Alive, which I'm just realizing now I saw with a complete different group of friends. Yeah, completely not funny, and your friends get pissed because you were supposed to see that movie with them last Thursday. Crap. So, speaking of movies, you saw the Transformers movie last year. I did. I saw it I think 5 times. Great film. But I kind of felt forced to see it. I went to a local anime convention for that. For some reason, was celebrating the awesomeness of this American-made show. For some odd reason, they felt that it would be an interesting idea if they just showed the trailer on a big screen TV on a constant loop right next to the ticket line. Yeah, best 3 hours of my life. Definitely. But you know what? Even if I hadn't seen the trailer X number of times, one of my best friends has a huge collection of toys, DVDs, and even tattoos of them. Don't get me wrong, I watched Transformers as a kid too, okay? Well, that's not 100% true. I watched this knockoff show called GoBots, but I had blocked out those painful memories, apparently, and thought I'd watched Transformers as a kid. Anyways, so he has a $90,000 Transformers collection. The number sounds made up, I wish it was. But trust me, his home is like a wall-to-wall Transformers shrine. Some in box, some out. It's a friggin' shrine, man. The first time I walked into his place, I thought that I could feel their thousands of robotic eyes peering into my soul. Needless to say, it was a little intimidating, and it was the first time I'd ever been afraid to touch a toy before. No, wait. There was this one time when I was a kid and I found this one thing in my mom's room. But anyways, it's getting way off topic. I'm sorry. I think that's best left up between me and my therapist. I was talking to a female friend the other day, and she was talking about how she has to use a professional voice when she's on the phone at work. I found that kind of odd, but the more I began to think about it, the more I realized that I kind of did it too. I guess then again, though, if somebody calls you up and you sound all nice and innocent, they won't take you seriously, which I think is really wrong. When oh when will the world learn not to judge people by the tone of their voice, but by the size of their breasts? When? I mean, hell, I deserve a bit of respect, Who's with me? So I mentioned that I go to anime conventions earlier, right? Now you might be thinking, anime? That's that Sailor Moon Pokemon bullcrap on television, right? Well, yeah, that is kind of right, but only kind of. Anyways, so there are these annual conventions that are held every year celebrating Japanese animation as well as how awesome Japan is, right? Now, a lot of people do what they call cosplay, where they dress up like their favorite characters. They're very popular. Sounds kind of weird, I know. Trust me. One of the problems, though, is that there are all these underage girls that look like they are in their 20s running around half-dressed without any proper supervision. What the hell? I mean, seriously. How has somebody not been kidnapped or raped is beyond me. The major frustrating part, though, is the fact that if the girls aren't underage, then they're with their boyfriends, or in some cases, girlfriends. It's not fair. And it makes hookups really hard, I mean, I don't think I'm that picky, I'm just asking for a normal, non-crazy girl who's willing to dress up in a scantily clad catgirl costume around me and my friends for an extended period of time while I grin like a fat idiot, pretending not to have an obviously huge erection. Is that so much to ask? Well, apparently it is. Anyways, I had fun writing, guys. Hopefully you found this somewhat comedic. Thank you very much.